Good evening, everyone. Can everyone hear me? Please confirm if you can hear me.
Good evening. Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Okay. Good evening once again. Welcome to today's section. I want to apologize for the little echo in the background. I'll do that to try and rectify it. Thank you very much. Good evening once again. My name is Dennis Williams. I am not supposed to be moderating today's session. Our moderator is currently having a little issue, but as soon as he is able to join us, I will give him the chance to continue and take over. Welcome to our second class for this quarter. Our topic for today is music, business, and law. And I'm sure our mentors, I can see one of our mentors is already here with us. All right, I'm sure they are all ready and willing to do due justice to today's topic. So while we wait for the other mentors and for the moderator and also other mentees to join me, um, I'll just go ahead and be taking the announcements. So the first announcements for today. If you still know friends and family that are interested in our, or will be interested in the program, please you can go ahead and let them know that registration is still ongoing to the end of this week. So moving forward, we'll be reading our mentor's profile. Our, our first mentor for today is Mr. Oluwaseyi Aruwosebe. Sorry if I didn't get the pronunciation very correct. Mr. Sheyi is the principal partner at Deluxe Consult, a corporate and intellectual property law firm based in Abuja, Nigeria, serving clients across country and globally. The firm has advised hundreds of clients in the formation and maintenance of corporate entities and safeguarding the intellectual property of individual and corporate entities. He is a facilitator at the Intellectual Property Institute Nigeria, where he teaches trademark and copyrights. Sheyi holds a Master's of Law degree in Intellectual Property and Policy. He is also an alumnus of the prestigious Lagos Business School. Thank you, Mr. Sheyi, for choosing to be a mentor with us on today's session. We are glad to have you here. Our second mentor for today um, is Mr. Raphael Efe Irene. Sorry if I didn't get the pronunciation correctly, sir. My sincere apologies. Mr. Raphael is an entertainment, media, and intellectual property lawyer. He's the founder of TEMT Africa, a platform that serves as a resource center and reference points for all matters concerning technology, entertainment, media, telecommunication, intellectual property, and fashion in Africa. He was formerly an associate in the Entertainment, Leisure, and Media Law Business Unit of Olayiwu Ajayi LP, a multinational corporate and commercial law firm headquartered in Lagos, Nigeria. He was also an intellectual property and technology associate at AELEX Partner, where he was second as a legal associate at Pruned, Prunid, Prunid Technology Developments Limited, an international technology cow service company also based in Lagos, Nigeria. He has advised a wide array of clients, including international and local clients, on intellectual property, technology, entertainment, and media matters. and in media matters, he's well versed in the realm of entertainment and media law. You're welcome, sir. Thank you so much for joining us. We are really, really glad to have you amongst us. We will be hearing very soon from you and from your wellspring in the music business sector. Our last but not least on our mentor list for today is Mrs. Amanda Inioma Uzuagba. Miss Amanda is an entertainment lawyer, award-winning author, entertain executive counsel, public speaker, and legal educator. She holds a law degree um, from from the University of Nigeria and was called to bar in 2017. She is currently the head of licensing West Africa at undombo.com, a Pan-African music service company where she oversees licensing operation within West Africa, particularly Ghana and Nigeria. Amanda has facilitated many events, conferences, and webinars targeted at educating entertainers, entrepreneurs, and creatives on the protection of their intellectual property rights. She has more than 8 years of experience in the entertainment industry, starting as a blogger and a PR consultant for record labels before she was called to the Nigerian bar. As an entertainment business executive, she has facilitated and negotiated over $5 million involving catalog sales, endorsement deals, branding, licensing, distribution, publishing deal records, publishing deal record, recording deals, live events, and so on for an array of artists, record labels, and investors, as well as helping them navigate the complex legal landscape of the music business. She has also worked on more than 45 production film exhibits in theaters, film festivals, and on international streaming platforms. She has also worked on a varieties of co-production, development, and production deals with international studios such as Netflix, um, Sony Pictures, BBC, Westbrook, AMC, Amazon Prime, Green Door Production, etc. Um, in 2019, in 2019, Amanda launched her consultancy firm called Goldwick Consults, a boutique consulting firm that focuses on the entertainment and creative business. Sorry for that interruption. For the entertainment and creative business, providing a range of service related to the legal and business aspects of the entertainment industry. Her diverse background and extensive experience makes her a prominent figure in the intersection of law and the entertainment industry in Nigeria and across the world. Thank you, Miss Amanda, for also choosing to mentor us and also choosing to come share your knowledge with us. That's for our mentors list for today. We'll be going straight into the session, and while we wait for other mentors to join in, we would just like to have Mr. Raphael just come and give us an introduction into today's topic. From your own professional point of view, sir, we would like to hear the nitty gritties of what the music. Mr. Raphael, can you hear us?
Mr. Raphael, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you. Just
Yeah, I can
give
hear
me a
you.
few
Just
seconds.
give me a few seconds.
Okay, sir.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. My sincere apologies for that little delay. I had an emergency, so I just had to quickly respond to it, despite being on the call already. So today's topic is music, business, and law. So I'll start by giving a little introduction of the music industry. First, the global music industry, then we'll come down to the African context. So the global music industry is currently valued, or in 2022 was valued at about 27.89 billion USD. And it was expected to grow at a compound annual growth rate of about 9.74%, projected to also reach 48.73 billion by 2028, which is about 4 years away from now. The reason why I'm quoting all of these figures is to give you context of how big the music industry is globally. I mean, we've seen how much global music stars are raking in from music sales. We've seen how much global music stars are raking in from concerts. The other day, I was having a conversation with a friend, and I was telling him that Coachella pays the headline performer, the headliner, about I think 1.5 million USD per weekend, and every headliner performs for 2 weekends. So it means that the headliner is getting about 3 million USD, and the people on the second row, that's the people on the second row of the performance list of the lineup, as we used to say. The people on that second row get as high as 750,000 USD. For 2 weekends, they get 1.5 million USD. So this means that the global music industry is generating massive revenue, and it is largely controlled by three companies. We have the Warner Music Group, the Sony Music Entertainment, and the Universal Music. Even if you don't know Warner or Sony, you would definitely know Universal Music because of the recent deal they had with Maven Records, Don Jazzy's Maven Records. So the music industry is very, very big, very, very big. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry, and as a result, the industry is largely regulated. Now, the reality is, in some climes, there are standalone laws that regulates the music industry. In some other climes, there are no standalone laws. For example, now in Nigeria, we do not have a specific law that we can point to. When I mean standalone, I mean, when I say standalone, I mean a particular law that you can point to say, okay, this law is what regulates the music industry. Just like the way we have certain laws that govern and regulate the petroleum, specific laws that govern and regulate the petroleum industry, specific laws that govern and regulate the intellectual property industry, specific laws that govern and regulate even up to consumer protection, even up to like name food and nutrition and all of that. We don't have specific standalone laws that govern the music industry. So when it comes to the legal framework for the music industry, when it comes to laws, the laws that regulate the music industry are dissipated. They permit me to use the word scattered around other laws. The provisions of the law that govern the music industry can be found in other laws. So for example, we have intellectual property laws, we have data protection laws, we have broadcasting laws, we even have up to consumer protection laws. As funny as it sounds, most people do not know this, that there are certain consumer protection concerns in the music industry. We will get to that, but let's start with I think it is imperative that we examine some of these laws as they apply. But before we do that, I would also like to mention that I talked about the value of the music industry globally as at 2022 and the projected compound annual growth rate within the next 5 years. Now, in Africa, we all know that Nigeria stands as the main country. Nigeria takes the lead when it comes to the music industry, now the African music industry. I think our music industry is currently worth about 2 billion USD. Yeah, as at the last time I checked, 2 billion USD. And if you are wondering where these figures are coming from, they are largely from the International Federation for the Phonographic Industry, for short, IFPI. If you are very conversant with the music industry, you may have come across that name or that word, IFPI. So they determine music performances, like how songs, how sound recordings perform globally. I'm not talking about performance or as per a musician performing on stage. No, I'm talking about how songs perform on charts and all of that. They determine the largest music markets based on statistics, based on research that they do, and that is how they come about these figures. So, for example, globally, the largest music market is that of the United States. Then in Africa, Nigeria is the largest music economy, the largest music market, and it is very evident because we can see clearly what our artists are doing, and we can also see for the fact that we have a very large population. But unfortunately, when it comes to global conversation, Nigeria is not top 10 or top 20. You understand? I think we are around 40 something position. I can't remember exactly. But I know we are not top 10, top 20, or top 30, according to the IFPI. And there are certain reasons for that. And this is why regulation is very, very imperative. Not just making regulations, but also enforcing regulations. I know for a fact that the reason why we are not on the same level, why we are not in that top 10 or top 20 or top 30 conversation is because of certain reasons. And one of such reasons is the issue of piracy, copyright infringement, intellectual property theft by extension. It remains a major issue in the Nigerian entertainment ecosystem, not just the music subset now, the entire entertainment ecosystem. Intellectual property theft, particularly piracy. You know, piracy is different from intellectual property theft. When it comes to intellectual property theft, we can be talking about trademark infringement, infringement of patents and designs and all of that. But piracy largely has to do with copyright infringement on a large scale, on a scale that has a very large economic effect or significant effect. You understand? So back to the laws. We have laws governing intellectual property. We have laws governing broadcasting. We have laws governing consumer protection. We have data protection. We have advertising laws too, because we see a lot of what our artists have been doing. Some of their songs are used in synchronization deals, sync deals. You understand? So there are advertising concerns. Although advertising concerns are largely connected with broadcasting concerns anyway, and intellectual property concerns, but I think it's also imperative, it's also germane that we take that on a standalone basis, on an independent basis. I mean, distinct from intellectual property concerns and all of that. Then we also have contracts and licensing. Yeah, when we talk about licensing, your mind goes to intellectual property licensing. Yeah, that's correct. But then again, for intellectual property licensing to take effect, it has to be, a contract has to be entered into, an agreement has to be entered into, either on an exclusive or a non-exclusive basis, as our relevant copyright laws provide. Now, when it comes to intellectual property, the major type of or form of intellectual property that regulates or governs or applies to the music industry is copyright, as we all know. Copyright for one reason. Now, there are 6 types of works in quotes, that are eligible for copyright protection. Now we have literary work, artistic work, musical work, sound recordings, broadcasts, and audio-visual work. Now, when it comes to music, there are 2 types of works that applies to the music industry, to the songs that we listen to. We have musical work and sound recordings. You understand? Now, musical work and sound recordings they are distinct. They are not the same. Some persons may not know, but they are actually totally distinct. They have their similarities, but on a large scale, they are very different. Now, when you hear musical works, what comes to mind is the underlying composition. You know, when a song is created, no one comes and says, I want to sing and start singing. For you to be able to sing, even if you are doing an a cappella song, a song that is a cappella, you need a producer, or you need someone that has the requisite skill of any of the musical accompaniments to contribute to it. For example, a typical example of an a cappella is Sound Sultan's area. Ajudabile, no matter where you go, make you no forget area. Oh. Then Burna Boy's If I'm Lying, you can't hear any beat in those songs, but you can hear guitar or keyboard or piano in the background. You understand? Now, the reason why I use that is because I'm explaining what constitutes a musical work, and you may not get it if I don't use an a cappella context for you, an a cappella example for you. Now, you see those piano, guitar, then when it comes to normal songs, when it comes to up-tempo song or upbeat songs, those beats that we hear, those things are done by people for the song to have effect. Those things are referred to as musical works. Those things you hear in the background, they are when they come together, when they are aligned together for the purpose of the substantive song itself, they are known as musical works or musical work. You understand? Now, the main song that you hear is known as a sound recording. This is regardless of whether the song has a beat or not. As far as there are some contributions in terms of melodies, what you can hear clearly in the background, those strings, those guitars, those guitar strings rather, those piano, those sounds they are musical compositions, also known as musical works. You understand? And the main song you hear is what we refer to as a sound recording. You hear Wizkid's Daddy You, Wizzy Boy, Make Me Dance, that's a sound recording. So in essence, there will not be a sound recording if there is no musical work in the background. You understand? Now, those two, I said they are largely different. I've explained a difference. Another difference is that the copyrights that inures in a musical work and a sound recording are also totally different. They are not the same. The copyright for musical work goes to the people that contributed to the formation of the musical work. That is the background sound that we hear. The copyright for the sound recording goes to the artist or the label of the artist, depending on whether or not the artist is independent. If the artist is independent, then it goes to the artist. If the artist is not independent, it goes to the label. You understand? Now, it also depends on the agreement that the artist and the label has anyway. You understand? There are some deals that state that the artist will get a share of the percentage and all of that. It also depends on the agreement and the advance paid to the artist. So what is an advance? An advance is, sorry, I'm going this deep. I know I don't have much time. I'll try to be as fast as I can be. An advance is an amount that is paid to an artist by a label. When an artist is signed to a label, the amount of royalties that the artist gets in return is largely predicated on the advance that was paid to the artist. Now, an advance takes is in 2 types. Now, there is a normal advance and there is an in-pocket advance. That in-pocket advance goes to the artist directly. You can decide what you want to do with it. We do the advance. Most of these international labels, particularly the big three that I have mentioned, they pay in pocket advance because I've worked. I know this because I've worked on some transactions with them for them, or that involve them rather. Then the normal advance is the one that goes into the career of the artist. That one is spent, that particular advance is spent on the promotion and the distribution of the works of the artist, of the songs of the artist, or albums or EPs, as the case may be. And it also goes into packaging the artist. There are some labels that go as far as buying clothes, sorting accommodation, issues for the artist and all of that. So the royalties that is distributable, the distribution of the royalties rather, is predicated on the type of agreement and on the amount payable in advance. Now, when it comes to royalties, we have 4 types of royalties. We have synchronization royalties, we have print music royalties, we have mechanical royalties, and we have public performance royalties. Now, as their name implies, they are very simple. Print synchronization royalties are royalties that you get from sync deals. When they sync your songs with other forms of media, maybe they use your song in a movie, use your song in an advert, like I said earlier on advertising. What you get is your synchronization royalty. Public performance, when the song is performed, you understand. And when the song is performed, you may think this means when the artist is performing the song or when another person is singing the song. No, it's not just that. It applies to that too, but on another note, it also applies to a situation whereby a song is being played. So when I was young, there was this advert by the Copyright Society of Nigeria. The advert was in pidgin English. In fact, the Copyright Society of Nigeria recently put out a notice to this effect. So what I am about to explain. And the notice was to the effect that DJs are required to obtain the licenses from COSON or any other CMO that an artist belongs to before they can play. No, I don't think that notice did not come from the Copyright Society of Nigeria. It came from the NCC, the Nigerian Copyright Commission. I just remembered, because the Copyright Society of Nigeria itself is a collective management organization. So the notice came from the NCC. So the NCC said that DJs that play songs belonging to other artists should get the licenses of the artist or the licenses of the collective management organization that the artist belongs to before they can play the songs in public. And they should ensure that the royalties that are derivable or that are gotten from those songs gets to the artist. The artists are paid, or the collective management organizations are paid on behalf of the artist. So this is what public performance royalties is about. When a song is performed in public, played in public, royalties accrue to the artist, to the original owner of the song. That's 2. Then number 3, we have print music. Print music isn't really common anymore, but I mean, they still do it. So those days we used to buy what we call lyrics book. Lyrics book is like a book that contains the lyrics of a song. We no longer buy lyrics book because everything has become digital. So when you go on A to Z lyrics, when you open your Spotify and you see lyrics of an artist, is it Music Match? I mean Music Mix, I've forgotten what they call them, that display lyrics of songs. That is where print music royalties come from. Then the last one, which is the major one, mechanical royalties. Mechanical royalties is Music Match. Thank you, David. Mechanical royalties comes from the distribution of the songs, either through physical distribution or online distribution, like distribution through digital service providers, that's streaming platforms. So there are 2 types of mechanical royalties. We have physical royalties and we have digital royalties. Physical royalties applies to physical sales. When you buy CDs, you buy vinyls, you buy cassettes. Then digital royalties applies to the streaming. You understand? So that is it basically for royalties. Then beyond copyright, we also have trademark concerns. Like when the name of an artist, as an intellectual property lawyer, I know I have trademarked the name of so many Nigerian artists. So there's that too. When that trademark is infringed on, there are concerns, there are regulatory concerns, there are laws that step up to the occasion. I mean, primarily the Nigerian Trademarks Act comes to mind. Then we also have patents. Patents is as it applies to technology. So DSPs, for example, there are certain solutions you would create as a tech bro in the music industry that would require patenting. They need to be patented rather. So patents can come in such instance. You understand? Then even design, laws governing design too can also apply, because we've seen a nexus between music and fashion in recent times. You understand? Burna Boy was about throwing a jacket the other day, and they said the stylist was pulling the jacket, dragging the jacket from him. So the gist is, there are certain. Can you hear me? Sorry, someone should indicate that you can hear me.
Yes, we can. I can.
Okay. So
Yes,
I mean, there are certain designs that are specifically made for certain artists. One. Number two, there are certain designs that we've also seen artists going to designing clothes and all of that. Louis Vuitton's numero uno is currently Pharrell Williams. Kanye West has the Yeezy brand. The late Virgil Abloh was very close, had a deep connection with the music industry. So there are also designs concerns too. Then away from intellectual property, we can talk about data protection. Data protection in the sense that we are beginning to see artists connect largely with their fans, and they do that through several ways or several means. For example, some artists have rolled out newsletters. Some labels have also rolled out newsletters. I think I am signed up to the newsletter to Adekunle Gold's newsletter. I am signed up to the newsletter of Plug. The Plug is Davido's management, is Asa Sika's management company that manages Davido, CK, Belashmoda, Focalistic, and the rest, and a host of other artists and sportsmen and women. So I am actually subscribed to their newsletters. So I receive emails from them regularly. Now, if for any reason there is a breach of my information, some of the information I submitted can actually be classified as confidential, and they are afforded data protection under relevant laws. So if there's a breach of those information, I can sue. You understand? So Burna Boy did the same thing. For example, Burna Boy's shows, you sign up on Burna Boy's website on his spaceship, and they give you information about shows and all of that. So there's a data protection concern on that basis. Artists are using it to get closer to their fans. Then there is also consumer protection. Now, if anybody here follows me, the person will know that I have been very heavy on this consumer protection issue. When it comes to consumer protection, an area of the music industry that comes to mind is concerts, like shows and concerts. We see situations whereby artists do not turn up for their shows, or they turn up late, they come late, they arrive late. So there are certain consumer protection concerns that people do not really know of, or that they are not aware of. And I think it is germane that we bring those concerns to the limelight, or to the light. So, for example, Section 130 sub A of the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Act prohibits a service provider from Section 130 sub A of the FCCPA entitles a consumer to the timely performance of services by the service provider. So in simple terms, it means that the service provider is required to perform his or her services on time. Do you understand? So if an artist arrives late at a concert, it means that this provision can actually be triggered against the artist. I don't know if you get. Then failure to also perform where you have been invited to perform, it will also attract penalties under the FCCPA, particularly under Part 15 of the FCCPA that governs, that provides for consumer rights. You understand? Then contracts in general. I mean, record labels and all, for record labels to work or to perform, to bring artists on board, they require contracts, they require music deals. This is a common knowledge, a general knowledge. There are different types of deals. In the music industry, we have publishing deals, we have management deals, we have recording deals, and all. Then there are different types of recording deals or management deals. For example, there's a 360 that applies to that states that the label will be entitled to a percentage of every revenue that the artist generates. You understand? So yeah, this is in a summary, this is how law and music intersect. This is how they connect. You understand? This is the intersection between law and the music industry. And the reality is that the music industry will not stand. I mean, it will not even get to the point it is today if there were no laws regulating same. You understand? So laws are very, very pertinent. They are very sine qua non. As one of my guys would say, they are very important. So yeah, this is it. Then I don't know if I can address the questions that were sent by the mentees at this point, or I would have to take a bow for now and come back later on to address the questions.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Raphael. Good evening, everyone. My name is Gustavo Kamaloni. I'm meant to be your moderator for today, but network has been quite crazy today. Can you all hear me, please?
I can hear you, Gustavo.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. And a fabulous start to today's session. I've been listening and it's been mind-blowing. There's some words I heard that sounded familiar. Other words I heard that I said, now this is entertainment business lawyer talking, and it makes so much sense. Thank you so much. You've really opened up so many diverse knowledge to us this evening. Thank you so much. As regards the questions, we have another mentor on ground who will have his introduction as well. And then we'll have our presentations by the mentees. After that, you'll have your take on their presentation as well as their slides. Then we go into the question session. Thank you so much once again for an astute introduction to music, business, and law. Thank you. Mentees, I don't know if you actually had time to write. You heard 4 royalties today. Probably after today's class, I'll be asking us to mention the 4 royalties he mentioned. Thank you again to Mr. Raphael. On the session, we have Mr. Shei. Hello, Mr. Shei. Good evening. Are you ready for your introduction, sir? Hello, Mr. Shea. He's one of our mentors for today as well. Good evening, sir. Welcome. Oh, you've been here already before now. Good evening, sir. Okay, while we wait for Mr. Shea to take over, our presenters for today, kindly who are those presenting for today? You can signify so you can begin your presentation. Hello, mentees. Are we here? Please, I love a very, very, very active session. Do not forget your participation in sessions also guarantee your prompt graduation from the JIIPCC program. So please kindly get involved. Who are our presenters or who is our presenter for today?
All right. Can you please hold on? Have you called me to give my talk?
Hello, good evening. Can anyone hear me, please?
Yes, good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Hello,
I can hear
can
you,
we hear you?
Moremi. Yes, I can hear
Okay,
him. Can
okay.
you? Yeah.
So I wouldn't know if you've called me to make my presentation.
Yes, sir. We can hear you clearly.
Okay.
Yes, sir. We've given you the floor to make your presentation.
All right. So, apologies. I'm actually juggling between 3 meetings. 2 are physical and this one online. So I've just stepped out of one of the meetings now to do this. I listened to much of Raphael's presentation, and I must say that was a brilliant, a well-researched presentation. I know it has taken us around the globe about the music business and the music industry, giving us facts and figures of what to get acquainted with about music. So I wouldn't plug the things he has mentioned. I'm going to try and bring this conversation home a bit. All right. So in the first place, there is need for us to agree and understand that music business is serious business. I know that there are people who do music for hobbies. They just chill in their own closets. They just sing, they vibe to other people's songs, or they just compose a few things and then they go without attaching anything to it. So, and even at that, we need to start telling people that they can make something out of that hobby. They say it's thinking. So somebody says singing is his own hobby, but they should see it as a business. And then it's a long way to go because there are things that ought to be put in place before you can do the business aspect of music. Now there is need to have legal support from day one, and this is the pitfalls that many music artists fall to. They just feel since they have the talent, they can always approach any record label and get signed, and then move on, and then they sing, and then they make money. No, so if you don't put structures in place, the burnout is going to be so massive, you'll be left hanging. And I can't begin to tell us different artists who have gone into music business without legal knowledge, without legal backing, without legal support. I would mention Sasha. For those who knew the days of Kenny Ogungbe's record label, Sasha was signed on that label, and apparently Sasha was not informed legally, and everything went down. I don't even think the record label itself survived. Also, I will remember when Kizane had issues with his record label, he lost everything and even his name. He had to switch the name he was using, and that was because he probably didn't get legal counsel, legal orientation and intervention before they up into music business. Now, there's an artist who went into music and didn't get legal support, but incidentally is doing well. That is Ashake. We remember when Olamide signed Ashake into the YBNL, and in fact, Olamide was the one who told him to go and get a lawyer to help him, vet the agreement, explain to him. The man told Olamide, "I don't need one. I don't need a lawyer. I just want to do music." That was risky. We never can tell what the terms were, but we realized that he didn't fail, he succeeded, and he's doing well. But that is not encouraging. That is not advice. If anybody is going to go into the business of music, you must put measures in place, and that involves getting a license. So you don't need to wait till you blow. Let me just use the word blow. You don't need to wait till you blow before you get legal support for your music. From the word go, any business whatsoever that you want to do that involves a capital, involves you using your talent, involves you using your energy, your time, you must get legal backing. And it is easier to have a lawyer on board at the beginning. You don't get to pay so much. People don't know this. You don't pay so much when you start your business journey with a lawyer. But at the point where you've gone too deep, you've been burned, and then you're not looking for a way to salvage the mess you've created, and then you're not coming for a lawyer to do magic, it becomes problematic. And then lawyer gives you an invoice and you say, no, it is too much. But if you start with a lawyer on that journey, it becomes easier. Now, there is a message I want to pass across to music artists and for us in this conversation right now. That is sampling people's songs, getting inspired by people's songs, using people's flow or feel to compose a new song. There is no crime in being inspired by the songs of others, but there is a moral duty that we need to do. It doesn't take anything from you if you acknowledge a previous song that inspired your song. It doesn't take anything from you. You're being human. You're being a sane person when you acknowledge a previous work that inspires your own work. It doesn't diminish you in any way. I give so much credit to Burna Boy. His song Last was a sampling of Tony Braxton's "He Was Not Man Enough." Tony Braxton's song was done in the year 2000. Last is very recent. Now, Burna Boy didn't just give credit to Tony Braxton, but the royalties coming from that song is being shared 60-40. Tony Braxton is taking more, 60%. Burna Boy is taking 40%. Has that taken any strand of hair from Burna Boy? No. Is the song making more headway? Yes. But the moment you refuse to give credit to whom credit is due, you bring yourself up to serious trouble. There's a particular song that is trending now. I'm very much involved in the legal matter coming up on that case. I won't mention it. But an A-rated artist released a song in February, and it's a direct infringement of a song that was released last year, October. We've written him, he has refused to respond. We're going to court. It is just straightforward infringement. It doesn't take anything from this man to approach the owners of that song to either collaborate on a remix or find a way to put them in the picture. It doesn't take anything from you when you acknowledge the author of a previous work. It is theft. It is stealing when you refuse to do what you should do. Another message I have for this conversation is that for any music artist you find out there, encourage them to register with the Collecting Society. We already have the Copyright Society of Nigeria and the Music Copyright Society of Nigeria. So you have these two. You can always choose either of them and register with them. Let them undo all the stress of collecting royalties on your behalf, of negotiating deals on your behalf. So you don't necessarily need to do all of that. Just get yourself into the game of composing music, talking to producers, getting beats. Let somebody who has the expertise handle the business angle. Get the legal knowledge involved, and everything just continues to run. Recently, we saw in news that Burna Boy has about 65 humans in his team. I don't know how true that is, but it was a news, and of course, we know that it might not be too far from the truth. So it shows that there are different persons playing different roles in the music business of Burna Boy, and that is how it should be. As an artist, you can't do it all by yourself. It is in trying to do it all by yourself that you want to be the lawyer, you want to be the producer, you want to be the composer, you want to be everything. You will burn out definitely, and you'll be cheated. All right. And then finally, the good news is that copyright protection for music is automatic. The moment that song is composed, as that song is published, you can feel it in a medium. Even if you just record that song and publish it on Facebook, you have copyright in that song. You don't necessarily need to register as copyright commission before you enjoy copyright in a song. That is the beauty of copyright. But of course, if you want to take it a step further, you can record all the songs in your album one by one, or do a composite registration of the entire album. All right, I'll just leave it here at this point, so that we can take the presentations from the various groups, and then we can come back to answer the available questions. Thank you so much for having me. Good evening, everyone.
Thank you so much, Mr. Shay. Thank you for that wonderful introduction to our topic for today. It's really nice having you on the call, and I can imagine how your day has been going with all your engagements. Please, mentees, do not forget to give
a nice word to our mentors for their wonderful introductions to our topic for today. Okay, once more, thank you so much, Mr. Sherry. Moving forward, we want to go to our mentees to hear from their presentations because our topic for today. Please, we have two presenters for today. Are you ready for your presentation? Who is going on first? I think group one should go on first.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Monilola Aremo and I'm representing Group 1. Can you hear me?
Hello. Hello, yes, loud and clear. Good evening. Welcome. Please, your presentation will take you for the next 7 to 10 minutes. The time starts now. Please carry on. Thank you.
Yes, I'm meant to share my screen. So, I don't know. Can I do that?
Yes, please. Oh, of course, yes. Yes, go ahead. Carry on. Yes, please.
Okay. Sorry, can you see anything?
Something came up and went off again. For now, it's just saying you were sharing screen. I don't know if it's a screen. Okay,
Okay, can you see
you
now?
can see. Yes, please.
Okay. So, good evening, everyone, once again. And my name is Monilola Aremo and I'll be presenting for Group 1. So we have the introduction to music, and I believe that everybody has, at one point or the other listened to a music or, came across a song. So even if you're not a music person, you must have heard music somewhere. And the definition here is music is a group of sounds that people have arranged in a pleasing or meaningful way. And another thing I want to say in this slide is law regulates and governs practically every aspect of life. And so music is not an exception. So in under entertainment law, we have music, we have a law also governing music as well. And that's like a part of entertainment law. So moving on to ownership. So we have single ownership and we also have dual ownership. So for the single one, it means that the person, first of all, ownership is when the person has the maybe somebody that owns the music has the copyright. They own the copyright to the music. So, but then it's in two different angles. We have the sound recording and the music composition. Music composition is the person that writes the song and the owner of the lyrics and of the song. But sound recording is like people that maybe make beats, people that make the music better. So so ownership is based on those two those two things. So, and we have cases where people that compose the music also are in charge of sound recording. So it all depends on the particular person. So moving on to the third slide, section 51. Section 51 talks about the fact that a recording of a music work and copyright usually reside in the artist in whose name the recording was made, unless otherwise agreed in a contract by parties. Music composition, on the other hand, resides in the composer or songwriter, and that's what I explained earlier on. I mentioned that it depends on the agreements, it depends on the particular artist. So there could be a joint ownership where there are like two people, and there could be one person that composes the music and also is in charge of the sound recording. And I don't know if we follow artists on Instagram and all. If you see that they release a song, you will see in their captions sometimes they will say produced by, they can say produced by KLP Vibes, or they could say mixed by so person. So that's like also giving the person credit and credit of what they did. So that's a part of it. So moving on to the next slide. Thus, both rights can reside on a person alone. However, the Act recognizes where more than one person has a joint interest or a proportion of a copyright and refers to such as co-author and co-owners of the copyrights. As I've also explained that as well. So moving on to musical financing. So in simple terms, musical financing is the act of sourcing fund for a music. Music is a business and requires capital and funding from various sources to grow. So music is a business, like our mentor has already mentioned as well. It's something that you have to dedicate a certain amount of capital. It's like you have to put in something to be able to gain more and to be able to get more. And if you don't, there are times that people even they try to manage their financing, but most times if you do what you're meant to do, it's possible to get like a very good results. And also there are different ways we can finance. Music can be financed. So there is self financing. That one is it has to do with personal savings. Like if you have personal savings, if you have a property and then you could go and sell it off, finance is self-financed, like finance that comes from you, from yourself. So from whoever wants to do the music. So that's self-financing. Grants can be, they said, source of public funding for music, which are non-repayable. I'm not really sure if governments give grants for music, especially in this. I'm not really certain because I'm not really aware. But grants could be from, let's say there is an organization, and then they want to just encourage the upcoming youths, all these upcoming youths, okay, that really have a bright future, and they know what they are doing, they have a vision, and so just to support their goals, they could get grants, in any area that they want to work in, which includes music as well. And we have debt financing. This is like borrowing money from bank, and then obviously would pay back when the money is ready, and then with interest. However, whichever way the bank wants it to be. So then we have crowdfunding. Crowdfunding is like contributions from fans, and I don't know, I've seen instances where people actually I don't want to say beg on Twitter, but like they basically like put themselves out there, put their music out there. And honestly, I've seen cases or instances where somebody sends somebody money. Okay, I need money to record. Okay, I need money to get a mixing tape, and then they just send money, and that's crowdfunding in a way. That's crowdfunding. So that's like an instance. So music sponsorship. So this is between an artist and a brand, so, or a commercial company. So the commercial company basically funds the music or the project, and then agrees and does that in exchange for promotion of their product or service or whatever they do. And an instance I will bring up is this one is Davido is like an ambassador. Is like an ambassador for Mattel. But in his music video, there was a part where they showed the Mattel was taking the Mattel in the video. I wouldn't say that one was it was asking for sponsorship, but like that's like the setting. That's how the setting looks like, or maybe let's say, for instance, maybe Munchies. Let's assume the video is not rich or something, or it's just like an upcoming artist. So if, let's say, the video, let's say Munchit, for instance, the video is also an ambassador for Munchit. So it could be eating Munchit in the video, and then that's like a way of promoting their their brand as well. So, and in return, they will help such a person for their music project. So private funding is like when you get like private investors, or you can, I don't know, it could be anywhere. It could be maybe you went to an event, you sell yourself out to the person, and then they like your music, and then they decide to, okay, let me invest in your music. So that's private funding. And okay, because of time, collective management. So collective management is like they are like the middlemen between the music rights holders and the music users. So they basically make license, and then they give out like a blanket license to allow music users to have access to a wide range of music and avoid the inconvenience associated with individual agreements with music right holders. They also collect royalties on behalf of music rights holders and distribute them accordingly. So they act like the middlemen between the music rights holders and music users. So in a way, I kind of see them as like a sort of checks, more like they regulate that, because if we are looking at the artists that we have in Nigeria, for instance, there are many artists, and obviously many people use music for different things. They could use music for they could use it for adverts, or they could use it for anything. Even they post making videos or whatever, it could be anything they use it for. So they act like a form of regulator, or they act like a middleman between the music rights holders and the music users. So then we have collective societies in Nigeria. We have the Copyright Societies of Nigeria. That's the COSON. The full meaning is the sole collective management organization in Nigeria. And then we also have the Musical Copyright Society of Nigeria, MCSN. Then we must note that the primary goal of the collective society is to protect and advocate for rights of an artist. They must also ensure fair compensation when their music is used in commercial setting, live performance, online streaming, and so on. Like I said, I believe that they act like a sort of regulator between, the music, the artist, and those that use the music as well. So, and yes, I believe that is all. Thank you very much. Can anyone hear me?
Oh,
Yes, thank you
sorry.
very much.
Oh, yes, we heard you. Thank you.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much. That will be all for me.
Well done, well done. At the point I was going to ask, are you sure you are not a mentor? Great presentation, great presentation. I'm sure
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. I'm sure our mentors are beaming with pride listening to that particular presentation. Good job, good job. Okay, so great one from group one.
Thank
Group
you.
two, thank you. So we're going off to group two for their presentation. Once more, great job from group one. Over to you, group two, please.
Hello, good evening. Can anyone hear me?
Hello, good evening, the lady's wonderful voice. Yes, we can hear you.
Yes. It's raining where I'm at, so I don't know if everyone can hear me clearly, but my name is Maria Juna.
Hello, Maria. Your voice is, trust me, it's very, very clear.
Okay. So I'm going to be doing the presentation for group two. My screen right about now.
Okay, Maria, you have 10 minutes. Please carry on.
Maria, please, can you hear us?
Hello, Maria. Okay, I think he's trying to share her screen. Maria, please, while you share your screen, kindly keep some dialogue going as well, so we are sure that we've not lost you there. Hello, Maria. Sorry, please, can every other person hear me?
Yes, we
Yes,
can.
yes, yes, we can.
We can hear you. I can hear you. Okay,
It
okay.
must be her network.
I think it's her network. I think it's her network. And since she's sharing her screen, I'd have said, okay, so I think, can we quickly have our picture time now? It's getting dark. So I think it's best to jump on our picture time. So here at JIIPCC, we have an amazing tradition where we take pictures from our sessions. It can serve as souvenirs. So we really want that. Okay, so I'll kindly request that we turn on our cameras and put on a beautiful smile on our faces as we quickly take a picture for the books and for record's sake. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, please kindly turn on your cameras for a quick picture time. And to do that, kindly wear a smile as well. It's getting dark, so it's best to have a picture time now before it gets worse than it already is. Okay, I'm using faces, you can hiding those faces. Hello, David. Nice to put a face to the voice. Hello, Insinem. I hope I got that correctly. Hello, Israel. Hello. Please let's turn on our cameras. Let's turn on our cameras please quickly so we can have our picture. Hello, Zenelli. I hope I got that correctly. Okay, thank you. So please, more cameras to come on so we can quickly have our picture time. We don't have so much time today. It's already past 7, which means we're rounding off in no time. Okay, I think we'll make do with the pictures we have right now because, okay, hello Ruth, how are you doing? Thank you. Okay, Maria, yes, you understand this network. You really understand. So quickly. Hello, General Roland. Nice to see your face if you can. Hello, Darren Shola. It's nice to see your face. Paddy
We've
Kenley,
taken
hello.
we've taken the picture.
Okay, thank you. So as many as people couldn't come up with the cameras, we intended to already that. Okay, Maria, are you okay for your position now, or can someone else in her group kindly share the screen so she can make her presentation from the shared screen? Group team members, please, someone could share the screen on her behalf and help her to control the screen through her presentation. All right. Thank you so much. Help her share the screen. Yeah. Okay, Maria, please, while someone is sharing your screen, kindly kick off with your presentation. I believe you can have it open at your end and you can just continue. You're welcome, honey. Please carry on with your presentation.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. I hope everyone can hear me.
Yes, please, you can hear you loud and clear.
Okay. So today's topic is about music, business, and law. And just like any other business, it's expected that when money is put in, money must be made. The music business has a lot of, what I'll say, a lot of people involved in the business, from the music, from the record labels to the producers, songwriters, and so many other people are involved in just creating one song. As one of our mentors mentioned earlier, well, we're not sure. They said Burna Boy's team, they're about 65 people. Now that's a lot of people working to make one brand make money. So how do these people make money? Well, during the course of, I would say, our research, we found out that there are certain ways in which people make money and rights are protected for not just the artists, but everyone involved in producing music. We have royalties. So when we're talking about royalties, for instance, now we have two different types of copyrights associated with royalties. First, we have the master's rights, and then we have the publishing rights. Master's rights are what you say the original recording of the song made. Now, typically, it's supposed to be owned by the artist or record labels. But what I've noticed is a lot of record labels actually own the master rights to songs. Take, for example, now, Sierra, recently, she got her master's rights. Her husband purchased it for her, I think early this year or late last year, I'm not too sure. So her husband purchased her music rights for her, for most of her songs that she made in the early 2000s. Then we have publishing rights. This covers like the melody, the lyrics. It's typically owned by the songwriter or the publisher. Then I want to move over to the types of royalties. Our first first speaker actually spoke a lot about these royalties. So I'm not going to dive into them too much because I think they have been explained excellently by our speaker. We have what we call technical royalties, which is basically like the reproduction and distribution of either the physical or digital format of those royalties. Take, for example, now, Davido's album, he had some of the most streamed songs of his entire career. We're talking Feel, Available. So those digital streaming platforms, they have to be converted to money. I mean, there's no point of him doing so well and not making any money from it. So probably Davido has gotten like a very big check from Spotify, Apple Music, and he's going to keep getting such through his streaming platforms, basically. Then we have public and performance royalties, which was also explained. It's not just about, the artist performing the songs on concerts or whatever, even like the DJs and everybody else, like there has to be a form of payment that is given to the artist, his producers, the record label, whenever these songs are publicly performed. Then we have, I hope I'm pronouncing this well, synchronized royalties, which is like songs earned this is when these royalties earned from songs when they are posted on media, like any form of media, movies, TVs, commercials. I think a very good example is the Bridgerton series, season 1, Ariana Grande's Thank You Next. The song was used, but in a form of a classical rendition, if I'm very correct, which was well done and everyone loved it. So I'm sure Ariana Grande is also getting royalties and her entire team from the Bridgerton series, season 1. Then we have print royalties, which is not really common anymore because of everything is, digitalized. Then I want to quickly run through people that get paid for royalties, even though I've kind of explained it. We have the songwriters, the publishers, obviously the record labels, the digital music distributors, which I think is very important in this day and age right now because artists need help getting their songs on those digital platforms, because that's where they are going to make like the most money from their songs. And then sync licensing agencies, that's what I mentioned earlier, like getting their songs on movies, commercials, and series, and whatever. Then we have the mechanical rights agencies, which for Nigeria, we have the COSON, that's the copyrights, I can't remember, but yeah, the COSONs, and then the other one, hopefully. We also have another important thing that we are supposed to talk about is music licensing and sampling, which is a very, will I say, touchy subject in the course of my research anyways, because there have been cases and a lot of back and forth and all of that. So I think basically you can sample music, obviously, because someone has to inspire someone one way or the other. But however, you can't sample without permissions. And that's a perfect example of sampling music well done is Burna Boy, and what he has done with Last Last, as our speaker earlier mentioned, it was something that he wasn't, in my opinion, he tried not to be greedy and selfish, and he did the right thing, and he's still making very good money from it. Although Tony Braxton is getting, will I say, the lion's share from the whole thing, but still, it's still a good thing for me, in my opinion. And to obtain a permit to license music, to sampling music, is known as clearance. I just want to put that out there. It's known as clearance. Therefore, a person who intends to sample a song must clear the song and obtain 2 licenses: a license for the usage of the existing composition, a license for the usage of the master recording. And over the years, we've had so many samplings, and a very big one that I think everyone should know about is the whole Marvin Gaye versus Robin Thicke and Pharrell Williams, the Blurred Line song, and how Marvin Gaye's estate took them to court about, sampling their song and what have you. So I think sampling music is very important, but however, there should be a balance. There should be a point of sampling and just outrightly copying, because while it is important to get inspiration, it's also important to acknowledge that you got your inspiration from this person, and like proper agreements and remunerations are made for this. When it comes to infringements and enforcement of the Nigerian music business, the legal framework behind it is mainly the Copyright Act of 2022. And in our slides, you see that we highlighted some key sections of the act that we think is important for this in regards to this presentation, which is, we have section 108 of the act. I will read it out loud just as it said. The author of a recording can be seen as a person that makes the arrangements for the preparation of the sound used. So this basically just describes who the producer is, and it has prescribed that the person who makes arrangements for the sound use should be regarded as the producer. Another key point I want to talk about is Section 9 of the Copyright Act, which stipulates that a musical work can be exploited through reproduction, publication, performance in public, translation of audio-visual distribution, broadcasting, communication, adaptation of the work in context. and making the work available through wireless or through wire or wireless means to members to the disposal and convenience of members of the public. So this basically just stipulates the forms and the ways in which music is exploited, and and I think, in my opinion, I think there should still be more to be done. There's still more, let's say, legal frameworks that should be put in place for the music industry, an industry as large as Nigeria's music industry. I mean, there's still so much, will I say, gaps that I think need to be filled up. Yes. And then another important thing I want to talk about is contracts and management for music business. As I earlier stated, it is a business. Forget about all the drama that comes with it. It is a business, and there must be agreements between the producers, the songwriters, the music managers, the record label. There's so much agreements to be made. So there has to be contracts put in place, because if there are no contracts, you have things like, the issue that happened between Kiss Daniel and his record label, and so many other artists that have lost so much due to failure of like proper contracts being drafted and clearly stating where everybody's rights and liabilities start and end. So in our presentation, there are a list of important details that we believe should be included in contracts. That's an exclusivity contract, the duration of the agreement, how long, services to be provided by the manager, the manager's commission, who pays the manager's expenses, and this is not restricting any other, because there are other points that should be considered in different agreements, but it would vary from agreement to agreement. This one now is for an artist management agreement, because most artists, we see that they quarrel a lot online, they're dragging each other, their managers. So how can we ensure that this doesn't happen? A standard artist management agreement would ensure that we are saved all the drama. So I think because of time and my network the bars just went down, I'm going to round up by saying that it's been an interesting conversation, and I hope this PowerPoint of ours was able to highlight some key details and significant cases of what the music business entails and how the music business actually makes money from it, because it's very important that we ensure that this business actually makes money from it. If not, how will we have deals like the Universal Music Group and what's going on with Marvel Maven Group? If they're not making any money, they won't be able to do that. So thank you very much, and I hope to hear what our mentors have to say about this presentation. Thank you.
Hello, Maria. Thank you so much for a wonderful presentation. Thank you. I'm so grateful to God that we have meant me to understand the ethics of presentations, and it's really beautiful. Thank you so much to both groups for outstanding presentations. Okay, right now we're going back to our mentors for their feedback on your presentation as well as closing remarks on it. So this is what we're going to do. We'll start with each mentor. Just give us probably in few words what was your take from their presentation. We will hear from both mentors. We will then take more questions and your should I say more emphasis on things that were said or things you want to throw more light on. Okay, so I think I want to start with Mr. Raphael. Please, sir, what is your take on both presentations?
Well, I would say they actually did a very good job. They did well, but there is a clarification I want to make. So the meaning of COSON is Copyright Society of Nigeria. I think the person that mentioned COSON in the first presentation made a mistake with the full name. Also, you may have heard one of the presenters say musical composition and masters. So I think I didn't highlight this when I was speaking earlier on. Now, sound recording is also known as masters. It is often referred to as masters. So sometimes you can hear sound recordings, other times you can hear masters. Know that they are practically the same thing. That's one. Secondly, musical compositions or musical works or just compositions, they are practically the same thing. You understand? So, yeah, well done to the presenters. You guys did a very good job. Yeah.
Okay, sir, thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, over to you, Mr. Shane. Can we get your own take on those presentations?
All right. I had the privilege of seeing the presentations before this session we had this evening. For the knowledge, for the information available to the groups, they have done well. We must encourage them. I wouldn't be specific my response because I wasn't entirely house what that was going on, but there was the part that presented with me in this last presentation. I was in the part where specific artists that sampled other person's songs were mentioned, and this is where I come in. You know, like I said earlier in my brief presentation, when you sample anybody's song, if the song inspires you to do a song, so which means there's a previous work you're leveraging on to do a new work. You should be bold enough to give credit to whom that credit due. So this was what one of the things that stood out for me in the last presentation. So I'm willing, hoping that we can go straight to our questions now so that I can tidy up and then I run back to the other things I have. Thank you.
Yeah, sorry for stepping in. Thank you, Mr. Oluwaseyi. So I just got to clarify something. So when you on that music sampling, I think I heard when some of the presenters made mention of it. When you sample another person's work, I don't think it is enough for you to give that person credit. It is actually right to give the person credit. I mean, DSPs, for example, they give credit to the original, to the makers of the original song. If you go on Spotify, for example, and you check the song credit of Burna Boy's Last Stars, you see Tony Braxton's name, Rodney Jenkins, and every other person that worked on the production of the song. But the most important part of music sampling is doing what we call a clearance. So clearance is not you giving credit. Clearance is you on obtaining the licenses or the permission or authority of the owners or makers or authors of the song sampled. So this clearance takes two forms rather. The first one is you would obtain clearance for the underlying composition. That is the musical work. You obtain clearance from the songwriters, the producers, those that contributed to the production process, the underlying production process. Then the second clearance is for the masters of the sound recording. Like I said, people that owns the masters and sound recordings are the artists and their labels, depending on the agreements they have. So it's not just enough to say, oh, I sampled someone. This reminds me of Burna Boy's, one of Burna Boy's issues. So in 2016-17, Burna Boy sampled, he practically reworked a song. You can call it sampling anyway, but I saw it as in reproducing the song. So there's a song called Grind by a Ghanaian artist called Vision DJ, featuring another Ghanaian artist called AI. So the song was a very popular hit in Ghana. Burna Boy heard the song and sampled the song in another record called Chillin' Chillin'. In fact, he just reproduced the song and named it Chillin' Chillin'. But in ordinary, or looking at it from an ordinary perspective, it is sampling. So he named the song Chillin' Chillin', Burna Boy actually credited the owner of the song, but the owner of the song called him out and stated that he was going to sue him. I think that's the reason why, if you're a diehard Burna Boy fan, you would know of the song Chillin' Chillin', but the song is not on streaming platforms because there's a copyright issue. Burna Boy did not seek the permission of Vision DJ and AI to sample the song in his own Chillin' Chillin', to sample grind in his own Chillin' Chillin'. So you need to obtain the licenses of those responsible for the musical work and those responsible for the sound recordings. It's either you're obtaining the licenses, the authority, or the permission, whatever it is called, but you are basically clearing the sample. So thank you very much.
Yeah, that makes more sense and more meanings to the conversation. And a step further is also to say that when you sample the song of another artist and then you get that license, it comes at a fee. And that was what I mentioned earlier when Burna Boy's last the streaming revenue, Tony Braxton is getting more than Burna Boy. So the licensing comes at a cost to the artist. So yeah, thank you so much for shedding more light on that, Ralph.
Okay, thank you so much to our mentors. So speaking about sampling, there's a particular question that has been in my mind for quite a while. That's with regards Aya's stability, where she sampled Awilo Lokomba's Coop Bibamba. I don't know, there was a time where we heard a lot about that. Please, do we have any take on that?
That's sampling as sampling can be now. I think they actually for a label like Maven Records that has a licensing division or a licensing unit, I actually believe that they cleared the sample because even Awilo posted the song on his own page. Immediately it was released on his Instagram page. So there's actually no issue with sampling. The first speaker mentioned, sampling is an art. It's something that anybody can do as far as you just clear the sample. You understand? And you also have to have it in mind that you would have to see the part of your royalty to the owner of the song that you sampled. So royalties now in this sense can be just mechanical royalties, can be public performance royalties. I think in that Burna Boy's case, that Burna Boy's last, the royalties that I heard because they didn't state the type of royalties that he had to give out to Tony Braxton, from which he gave out to Tony Braxton, but it's from mechanical royalties. So Tony Braxton does not have a right on the public performance royalties, but she has a right on the mechanical royalties. So, I mean, it's as simple as that. You can sample anybody. The way I am now, I can sample anybody, even sample Choma Jesus, sample. The most important thing is me clearing the sample. So it's as simple as that.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much for that clarification. So basically, when it comes to sampling, sampling is not bad as long as you get it cleared by getting the requisite license from who is meant to get the license. Thank you. So we're moving straight on to the questions from our mentees. Please, mentees, I know with today's discourse, we should have some live questions. So get your questions ready. Probably can take one question from the questions you sent earlier, but I want to see so many live questions. The truth is, the music business is doing a whole lot in the payment space. If we have professionals who are in this space, there's so much knowledge and money to be gotten from the music business. I'm so grateful that our mentors are people who understand this business and have been in the business and from we really can hear them. There's so much wisdom and understanding from what they are saying. Okay, so I'll go on to the first question from what our mentees have sent previously. Okay, this I'll send to Mr. Raphael. What legal framework would you recommend for the current state of the music business in Nigeria? Hello. Hello, can anyone hear me, please?
Yes, we can hear you, Goslow.
Okay. I didn't think Mr. Raphael had my question.
Sorry, come again. Bring the question again.
Okay, so Mentee sent the question earlier. The question is, what legal framework would you recommend for the current state of the music business in Nigeria?
So I think we have all the needed, we have all the required laws in terms of legal framework. When you talk about legal framework, we are practically talking about laws, like laws that are in place or that should be put in place. So I think we have good laws actually. The only areas where I feel like we are lagging is with respect to copyright. I mean, our Copyright Act does not fully take into cognizance recent technological evolution in terms of AI and the rest, ownership rights and all of that. So even if it's a new Copyright Act, we also need to improve on it. But then again, I am a strong advocate for laws and regulations that borders on financial investment in the music space. So I have written about this before, and I would like to mention it here. In other clients, even Ghana even introduced it recently. There are incentives for their entertainment industry, particularly the movie and music subsets, because these are the two major subsets that drives entertainment, the entertainment business globally. So there is an act, I think with that industrial, I've forgotten the National Industrial Development Act or something, I've forgotten the name of the act now, that provides for the pioneer status incentive. Those of us that went to law school, we know what the pioneer status incentive is already. I mean, they used to sing in our ears in Lagos campus back then. So Nigeria currently has an incentive for the music industry, which is the pioneer status incentive. But the requirements for obtaining that incentive are quite tedious. So bringing it to layman's language now, let me leave law a bit. Let me be as literal as I can be. Now, I need a framework that would see, a legal framework that would see the federal government or the state government or the subnational governments regularly contribute to financially to the entertainment industry. Now, it does not need to be by dishing out funds. I mean, there's that too. I mean, we have support funds anyway. For example, we have the Creative Industry Support Fund by the African Export and Import Bank, the Afrexim Bank. I think it's pegged at $500 million. But then we can also have the government contribute funds. In the alternative, if they cannot contribute funds, they can do what we call grant the industry incentives. So incentives are like benefits given to you for being a player in a particular industry. They are leverages or leverage or benefits given to you for being a member of a particular industry. For example, Dangote has incentives now for selling cement and all of that. In the agricultural industry, there are some taxes that farmers do not pay, not because they don't have the money to pay, but the government gives them some kind of tax holiday for them to be free from paying those taxes. The money that they're supposed to use to pay those taxes can be used in any other venture to promote their work, you understand? So I think we need something like that in the entertainment industry. Now, like I mentioned earlier on, there's already the pioneer status incentive that applies to the entertainment industry. But the challenge with the pioneer status incentive is that the procedure for applying for the incentive and getting the incentive is quite tedious. So you would have to pay before you know it, you've paid the millions that you will just give to the government as a tax. So the pioneer status incentive absolves you of tax payments, certain tax payments at certain percentages, or at a certain percentage rather. So what that means is that any entertainment company that gets the pioneer status incentive will not pay certain taxes You understand? Or we not pay a percentage of certain taxes. The problem with it now is that you need to make some payments, payments that are even more than the taxes you will pay to obtain that pioneer status incentive. So I think we need to make laws that would see us actively contribute, that would see the government actively contribute to the entertainment industry like it is being done in other climes. You understand? In terms of intellectual property, I think I've mentioned that. Then I think what we also need to do is to boost or to create more sensitization on the current framework, legal framework, the current existing legal framework. Like, we need to bring it to the notice of people that, see, there are these laws exist too, and they are not just there for aesthetics. They are there because they need to apply, because they apply and the people are bound by them. So yeah, so I think basically this is what I would say on this issue of legal framework.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Truthfully, okay, Mr. Shea. Okay, sir. Thank you so much. It was such a pleasure having you on the call. One of our mentors will have to step out because of work. Thank you so much, sir. Okay, Mr. Russell, back to you. I really agree with you that one of the issues we have is not as though we don't have these laws, but most often they're either not up to date or in line with current trends, or the masses do not have enough information. I know lately the Nigeria Data Protection Commission is doing a whole lot when it comes to spreading the word and creating awareness. I think that's why we have a whole lot of infringement being overlooked in entertainment space, because nobody knows these laws, these things are offenses or are infringements per se. So I think truly with good awareness about these laws, probably we would know that we have the framework, we can make them better, although we just need to have them do more. Okay, so we have some more questions in the chat box. So the next question, okay, someone sent a live question here. That's from Ruth. It says about, can you all hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes, we
Okay,
can.
thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, so Ruth sent a question, that's Ruth Lamia. The question reads, about royalties, how did you handle a situation where an artist doesn't get the royalties due him on a song collaboration? There was no contract though, but the song was listed on a streaming platform. How does one navigate this situation? Should you even consider taking it up legally or just letting it go? I did take so much about licensing. Licensing usually comes with contracts. But Mr. Russell, you're the resident expert here. What's your take on this, sir?
The question again, but your voice is a bit low. I've been increasing my volume. I've been increasing it since morning. I think your voice is not. I don't know if it's my laptop
Okay,
that's an issue.
Please, am I low to everyone, please? Because I think
Yes,
I'm
your voice is a bit far.
Okay, oh, AirPod. Is it better now, please?
A bit.
Okay. If it's better now.
Yes, we can hear you clearly now.
Okay, I have to disconnect my AirPod. Okay, thank you. Okay, so someone sent a live question. The question reads about royalties. How do you handle a situation where an artist doesn't get the royalties due him for a collaboration on a song? There was no contract though, but the song was listed on a streaming platform. How does one navigate this situation? Should you even consider taking it up legally or letting it go? And I said, I know you've spoken so much about clearing, and clearing comes with licensing. Licenses are usually contracts. But over to you, sir. What's your take on this question?
So, firstly, or first of all, this is 2024. It is very, very bad for you to contribute to the making of a song and not have an agreement in place that documents the extent of your work done and the amount of royalties that should accrue to you, the percentage of royalties that should accrue to you over time. But then again, the harm has been done. There is no need spending time regretting such action. It is time to move forward. Now, there's what we call the sweat of the brow theory in copyright. What does that mean? If you contribute to the making of a copyrightable work, you are automatically entitled to the benefits that comes from that work. So even in the absence of an agreement, now this is not, I am not advising people to go and do something without agreement to know. But even in the absence of an agreement, I mean, it is always important to enter into an agreement. But even in the absence of an agreement, if it can be established that that is your voice in that song, or that the strings playing is yours, there are, you know, in the absence of an agreement, a written agreement, a documentation, in the absence of a written contract or agreement, that agreement or contract becomes an oral contract or an oral agreement. It automatically becomes an oral contract or an oral agreement. So what is the implication of this? It becomes subject to the requirements for the establishment of an oral contract. And what are those requirements? One of such requirements is that you provide witnesses to prove that there was a contract in the first place, or there was an agreement in the first place. You bring witnesses, right? So to prove that you actually contributed to the making of that song, if you can bring 2 or 3 people that featured in the making of the song, that contributed to the making of the song, that can establish that you actually did something in the making of that song, then I think that would suffice. Automatically, you become entitled to copyright in the song. You understand? So everybody would need to go back to the drawing board to determine what percentage would accrue to you in terms of moral and economic rights. Now, the reason for this is that copyrights, unlike trademark, does not require registration. Copyright inures to the author or owner immediately the copyrightable work is made. There's no point doing so the sweat of the brow, sweat of the BROW. I don't know if I pronounce that well anyway. Brow or bro. So copyright inures to you automatically. You don't need to do any type of registration. So yeah, that's it. You still have an action, and you can actually sue or threaten to sue. And in most cases, when you threaten to sue, the other party would do the needful. For example, there was this issue between Asha and Tempo. So there wasn't any agreement. I remember that issue because the law firm that handled it, their principal partners are my good friends. They were my colleagues in Alex when I was in Alex. Asha reached out to Tempo to produce a song for her. Now, halfway into the production, Asha took the song to go and give P Prime for P Prime to do the production. So Asha and Tempo, I think they fell out. They couldn't continue with the production process. She took it and went to give Tempo for Tempo to produce. Tempo did his own production on what I said. Tempo, she took it to go and give MP Prime. So Asha and Tempo were the original parties. Now they fell out. Asha took it to go and give P Prime. Now P Prime did a production that was heavily predicated on what Tempo had done at the beginning. You understand? So Tempo wrote to Spotify and told Spotify to take down the song. And Spotify, she wrote to all DSPs, not just Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, and all. And the song was taken down from Asha's album. That's her last album. So, yeah, you have a case, regardless of whether you had an agreement. But it is always important for your own good for there to be an agreement in place that will clearly state out the terms between the parties. You understand? So, yeah, That's it.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. Thank you. I hope I'm still loud, please.
Loud and clear.
Oh, thank you. Ooh, that was just amazing. Okay, so we have another live question here for you, Mr. Raphael. Thank you again for that very, very clear answer to the last question. So this other question reads, do social media apps pay artists royalties for use of their songs there in the app? Example, TikTok and Instagram. Do social media apps pay artists royalties for use of their songs there in the app? Example, TikTok and Instagram. Also, do the use of these songs on the app also contribute to the song position or performance on the music charts?
So, yes. To answer the first question, yes, they pay royalties. I think that is even the basis for the dispute between Universal Music and TikTok. I don't know if you guys heard of that. If you go on TikTok now, you won't hear some songs by Taylor Swift, Drake,
Yes.
Rema, and the rest. So Universal Music claimed that TikTok was not taking they were not putting in place adequate measures to ably protect the copyright of their artists, given the advent of AI and the rest. That's one. Secondly, TikTok, Universal Music also claimed that the royalties that TikTok was paying to them and other music labels, the royalties were small. So TikTok needed to improve on the royalty payment. And TikTok said, that they must continue with that royalty payment. Sony Music agreed, Warner Music agreed, but Universal Music said over their dead body, they rather leave TikTok. Sorry, I'm a bit dramatic. So on that, they pay because given technological advancements, given the rise of social media platforms, we've seen a new dimension to music distribution. People practically know of new songs from social media platforms. That's one. These social media platforms leverage these songs to assist their users in creating content. We see reels, music reels, and the rest. You repost your pictures on you post your picture on your IG story. You can just put one or two nice songs in the background that will just give some finesse to the picture. I don't know if you understand. So that in itself adds value to the social media platform. They are leveraging that too. So they have to pay, and they in fact pay. Now, on the second question, I'm having a memory loss. I beg, remind me of the second question again.
Okay, sorry. The second question is also, do the use of these songs on the app also contribute to the song position or performance on the music chart?
Yes, heavily. They heavily they contribute to. They contribute to. That's why everybody's looking for a TikTok hit now. They do. There is a Twitter chart that was launched by Billboard. Trending. It's called a trending music chart. I've forgotten. I think they stopped it too. I think Billboard and Elon Musk could not reach an agreement after Elon Musk took over the leadership of the management and leadership of Twitter, which is now X. So they heavily, for example, Africa's second biggest song, Love in One City by CK, blew up through TikTok now. There was even a copyright concern in the commercial success of that song. But that's a topic for another day. So they actually do. There's a TikTok and Thriller Billboard charts. Now, beyond that, the fact that the songs are trending on TikTok, on these social media platforms, means that people would want to hear them. There are songs that were released in the 1980s, 1970s that blew up recently as a result of their usage on TikTok. people use them to do content, to do memes, TikTok memes, and all of that. You understand? So I don't think there's any song that has gone viral in recent times that did not do so through TikTok and Twitter or Instagram. In fact, we see Nigerian musicians promoting their songs heavily on Twitter. When they release songs, they try to create some controversy on Twitter just to push the song. So yeah, it does contribute. If your song blows up on TikTok, be rest assured that it will appear in the official chart of more than 5 or 6 countries. And that is an international hit already. If a song appears on the official chart of the US, which is the Billboard Hot 100, the UK, which is the UK official chart, the Middle East, which is the Middle East, I've forgotten the full name now. It's called MENA, MENA for short. So if your song blows up on TikTok, there's a very high tendency that it will blow up on charts. You understand? So yeah, it actually does contribute. It contributes heavily. Yeah. So that's my answer. Can you guys still hear me?
Yes, please. Yes, please. Sorry, I'm having some technical difficulties. Okay. So we have a few more questions to go. Time is way spent. So we see how to take those few questions. Let me just go back to the chat box. So that means now I see how water actually made it through. Water. I think one of these days we'll discuss more about the Grammys. Okay, so we have some questions, 2 more questions earlier sent by our mentees. Someone asked, how can artists become better at safeguarding these interests and rights they have in their songs? I think we've said too much about them, but are there a few things you think you want to lay emphasis on with regards to safeguarding of their interests and rights in songs? Hello, Mr. Raphael. Please, can you all hear me?
We can hear you, Koslov.
Yes, we can.
Okay. I'm checking through if we still have Mr. Raphael on. Okay, he's still here. I don't know if you heard the last question I read out. Okay, so most likely he's having some. Okay, Ruth, I see your hand up. Ruth, please go ahead with your question.
Okay, thank you very much for this opportunity. I wanted to add to this particular question, I wanted to shed more light on it and bring first question. It's actually something that is happening right now. The problem with most artists is they are more concerned about the creative aspect of everything, but not really paying attention to the business and legalities and all the technicalities that come with the industry. So how can an artist who is concerned about his art, whose passion and interest is just the music, set up their guard in such a way that they don't get ripped off at the end of the day for their hard work? So it's really, I don't know how to put it, but then it's something that is close to my heart, and I really feel like is there a 10 steps 10 steps or 10 rules, 10 things you need to do as an upcoming artist that you can just to help us? Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, Ruth. I'm trying to see if Mr. Raphael has been listening in to hear. But I know that earlier, or when Mr. Sheyi was speaking, he made mention of registering with the necessary authorities. There are boards that handle artists and music and all that, I think, for countries. I'm trying to see if Mr. Raphael would come back on. But you know that
I just believe that with those kind of registrations, and of course, getting the right representation, we always say this all the time. There are lawyers and there are enthusiasts who have a lot of information about protection when it comes to music, especially in the IP space. So before anyone who is crazy about music or loves music should learn or should know the fact that they are meant to either register with the regulating bodies who regulate this in the regulatory bodies, or they should ensure that they have legal counsel or counsel that has enough information or knowledge about protections for their musical work. I think that's the first step, basically. For every creative, before you go into creating that particular idea, ensure that you're either going through with you understand the research you're meant to do, or you have the requisite information from someone who has the knowledge. It's really important. I was really hoping Mr. Raphael would come on to give us probably some tips or tools that someone who loves music should look into when they are starting this, especially with the business part. But I would say this in the IP space, there's something that's always said: when you create it, ensure you protect it. When you protect it, ensure you police it. When you police it, ensure that you make money from it. So I think if they look into all this, Mr. Musa will talk to us one of these days if she hasn't already, and she'll keep on talking about all this. I know that even on Twitter, that's X, there are some people who give regular information about things like this. Also, the person can follow our mentors. We have our mentors on their LinkedIn, they always talk about things like this: how to protect your IP, how to protect your work, your creative work. So I think if they should follow people like that on LinkedIn, on X, it also helps them to have the requisite knowledge to protect their creative work. Okay, okay, so for now, I don't know, but we've lost Mr. Raphael at the moment as per on this session. He's still on the call, but in the meeting, but I don't know if he can still hear us. But due to our time, I think this is the much we can take on today's session. This is the much we can take. We're 3 minutes of our time. So I want to say a big thank you to our moderator, to our mentors. That's Mr. Raphael, who is still here, but although we can hear from him at the moment, and also Mr. Shea, who was here earlier and had to leave. Once more, thank you to all our mentees, to our presenters. Thank you for beautiful presentations. Thank you to our mentees who made it through till this time. Hello, Mr. Williams Dennis. Thank you so much, sir, for being here with us throughout the call. Thank you. And a big thank you to JIIPCC, the beautiful Mrs. Jelena Imam. Thank you for this initiative that is shaping lives and giving us better perspectives into the world of business, especially in the entertainment space and the IP space. Thank you so much. Please keep your questions. I think you can send your questions to Mr. Dennis, who will surely send to our mentor, and I believe you'll be able to send us some answers to this question. One more time, my name is Goswell Kamalani. It's been an honor moderating today's session. Until our next session, do have a fabulous evening. Goodbye.